From Caterpillars to Butterflies, Episode 7, Why You Need a Personal Growth Plan and How to Create One.
Welcome to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast. Just like the caterpillar is destined to become a butterfly, you too are designed for a beautiful transformation. This is where you go to grow and transform your life. And now, here's your host, Certified Life Coach, Charlene Dior.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the From Caterpillars to Butterflies podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're talking about personal growth plans. We're talking about why you need one and then how you can actually create one. So I am a big believer in continuously growing. I've said it many times before on some past podcast episodes. I believe that the way that we reach our highest potential and fulfill our highest purposes is to always be growing. You just are not born with every set of skill set and knowledge that you need to know. And so it's important to always be adapting and always be growing. I just wanted to dedicate this episode as we're ending the year and starting the new year to personal growth and having a plan in place for how you're going to grow for the next season, the next year of your life. It always amazes me when people say that they don't believe in New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals. And, they say things like they're always working on their goals or whatever. I think that's just crazy. I had a boss once who would put money in the budget for every person on the team to attend 2 conferences or workshops for the year. They budgeted money for every member of the team to grow. So if your boss, if your employer can invest in your growth from a career standpoint, why in the world can you not invest in your growth? Your life is not just your career. It's a big part of your career, but you also need to see growth in other areas as well. You need to see your relationships grow. You need to see your relationship with yourself grow. You need to see your spirituality grow. And so there's no reason why your employer should be more vested in seeing you grow than you are in seeing yourself grow. This whole idea that I don't do New Year's goals is just crazy to me for that very reason. You should have, it's good to have time set aside where you are focused on your growth. And the end of the year and the beginning of the next year is a good time to sit down and focus on it and have a plan in place. Because those who fail to plan to fail. You want to have a plan in place. And so, again, this episode is just all about personal growth planning and how to create your own plan. And I'll walk you through how to do that and also give you a resource for how you can get a free planner, so to speak, from my website to help you out if you want to go that route. But you can create this planner yourself in Excel, honestly. Why you need a plan of growth in place. If you're honest with yourself, and I mean super honest with yourself, there are some things in life that you have lost that you wanted to keep. What have you lost that you wanted to keep? And be brutally honest with yourself. Because a lot of times when we lose things that we wanted to keep, we say things like, God got something better coming for me anyways. What's meant to be will be, and all that jab. And not saying anything about God or spirituality, but a part of us saying that is giving ourselves permission just to not face the truth of the matter and not to accept the role that we've played in the way that events have unfolded. And we just say, whatever happened outside of myself. But if you're honest with yourself, you have lost things that you've wanted to keep. And if you can't be honest with yourself, then it's very hard for you to grow. But you need to be honest with yourself so that the next time you're in these situations, you can keep what you want to keep. And the things that you lose, the relationships that don't work out, the opportunities that fall through the wayside, those are the things that you were okay with not working out anyways. But when you really want something and you lose it, those are the things that can be crushing to you. Several years ago, I made plans with a friend of mine to go out for New Year's Eve. And she's always late, always. And so, she texted me and said, well, I'm up And so I started to get up and get ready to go. And then she texted me again and said, well, what time do you want to be there? And we had already agreed to meet at 10. So I said, well, I'm getting ready now. I'll be ready to leave my house in about 15 minutes or so. Does that work for you? And she said, yeah. And I kind of thought that she wasn't really being honest when she said that. But then my second thought was, well, why would she lie? If she's not ready, she needs more time. I mean, she could say that. Long story short, she was late. And I was not happy with the fact, not that she was late, but that she lied, because she has a tendency of being late. So even when I check in with her to say, hey, does this time work for you? She still wasn't honest enough to tell the truth and to not be late, right? That was a perfect time for her to not be late. Because she could have said, no, I need more time. So when she got there, I was like, I just don't understand why you didn't say that you needed more time. It really spearheaded into this other crazy thing. And she was like blaming me. She's like, Charlene, I didn't say that I was going to be here at 10. You said that you were going to be here at 10 and you can get here at whatever time that you want to get here, because you are you and you are a grown woman, and you are always getting mad at someone when they're late. And you are the only person that I know that is on time. Most people are not on time. Most Black people are not on time. So you just need to learn how to be late, Charlene. And you did this with this other person, girl. She started throwing up other things that had nothing to do with her. Long story short, it really dampened our friendship, and it has really never, ever been the same. And big picture, does it make sense to lose a friend because she doesn't know how to be on time? Not really. That is a situation, a relationship that I lost that I would have liked to have kept, if I'm honest with myself. So I've had to learn to give more grace. I have had to learn to extend more grace, because I totally understand why people flip out. It wasn't even that she was late. It was all the other things that she was saying and the things that she was bringing up that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I ran it through my head a kabillion times, and she never came back to apologize. And that I ran that through my head a million times too. So it wasn't even her being late. It was all the other things that she said. But I totally understand people don't always like feedback or criticism. They internalize it and they let it define their worth. And so a lot of times when people flip out, it's really a defending of their self-worth. I get it. But in my mind, I'm like, look, she's grown. She need to put her big girl panties on and just be an adult and say she's sorry. Blah, blah, blah. But I've had to grow in the area of giving grace to people, because I can be hard on people sometimes, because I do honestly just feel like you're an adult, you know this stuff. But that's an area in my life that I've had to grow in. And so if you're honest with yourself and you think about the situations that have blown up, the friendships you lost, the lovers you lost, the home you lost, the whatevers, and you're really honest with yourself, then there's something that you lost that you wanted to keep. And so you have to grow into the person who can keep those things. And I'm not talking about like people or death or things like that. I'm talking about just the things that you have control over, that you have let go because of an area of your personality that wasn't able to keep it, or an area of your mindset that wasn't able to keep it. And that's how you can start to identify what areas you need to grow in. For me, I needed to grow in extending grace to people. It's one of many areas that I need to grow in. But that's one thing that I've learned about myself. I have to learn how to be more graceful and more understanding and more compassionate in general to people and to life. I'm working on it. So when you start to look at your personal growth plan, that's a great place to start. Like, what are some of the things that have not turned out how I wanted them to turn out? And just being honest with yourself and not giving these cliches, what's meant to be will be, and I didn't like him anyways. But just really being truthful and honest with yourself so that you can create the right growth plan for yourself and for your future. Reflecting on the past is a really great way to, one, help you understand why you need a growth plan, And two, to help you identify some of the areas that you need to grow in. You can grow in the areas that have been caused limitations in your past. Another way to think about areas that you want to grow in is thinking about the goals that you have, the life that you would like to achieve, and what you haven't been able to achieve yet. What's been keeping you from achieving the thing that you haven't been able to achieve yet? Because there's always a gap. You're never going to make it. If you are alive, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, you're always going to want something else. You're never going to make it. You're going to climb one mountain and you're going to see other mountains behind it, and you're going to want to climb those mountains too. So you always want to be closing this gap between where you are and where you want to be. You always want to kind of be improving your relationships and your friendships and your communication styles and techniques and your confidence levels. There's always a gap. And that's okay. We don't have to judge the gap, but we can look to the gap to understand what growth we need to fill that gap. So if you want to lose weight and you've always been overweight and you've always wanted to be a healthy weight range, right? That's the gap. So now you need some new habits, some new knowledge, some new techniques to help you close that gap. I grew up as a shy girl. I never really wanted to be seen or heard. I always had a very tight-knit group of friends. And I still kind of do. I'm not extroverted and wild and everybody look at me. But it came a point where being quiet, reserved, and shy really kind of held me back. It limited the opportunities that I could be exposed to and to take advantage of, because I wasn't putting myself out there. And I just realized that my life was a reflection in part of that lack of confidence in me. And I never felt safe exposing myself. That's why I always exposed myself to small groups of people. Like, I had to feel safe first before I could be more confident and more of myself. But I realized it was holding me back. I can't take years to feel safe, right? I've got to move things along so that my life can move along. So that lack of confidence, that shyness, was holding me back. It was a part of the reason why there was a gap between where I was and where I wanted to be. And in order to close that gap, I did specific things. I joined Toastmasters. I started reading books about confidence. I got into meditation and hypnosis and subliminal audios and affirmations and all those things that can help reprogram your subconscious mind. I started getting involved with those things, reflecting on and using those tools to help me build my confidence and overcome some of the shyness. I'm still pretty shy and quiet. But look, I'm here doing this podcast. Like, this wouldn't be possible if I hadn't done those other things. So for me, it was, okay, I'm shy in a way that is limiting to where I want to go next with my life. I've got to close this gap. So I'm going to walk you through now how you can create a personal growth plan, thinking about the way that you want to grow for the next 12 months or just at this time and season in your life, whatever the time frame is. You can create this yourself in Excel. You can create it on paper. Of course, I will give you a resource you can download, one that I've developed for free. But here's how it goes. You're going to write at the top, in the columns, different tools to help you grow. And really, they're verbs. So you're going to read, you're going to attend, you're going to join, work with, listen to. Those are some of the verbs that you're going to put in the columns. Ways to help you close the gap. In the rows, you're going to focus on the areas that you need to grow in. So when you look at where you are versus where you want to be, what is holding you back? What new knowledge do you need? What new skill set do you need? What new characteristics and personality traits do you need? So if I was creating this personal growth plan and I said I was the shy girl, I didn't like being the center of attention, it was holding me back, I needed to build my confidence, then on row 1, I would put confidence. So confidence would be in column 1 of my first row. And then I would go over to read. and I might put in I Can Make You Confident by Paul McKenna. I actually read that book. I might go over to join and say Toastmasters. I actually joined Toastmasters. I might go over and put listen to this confidence subliminal audio. And a side note about audios, I'll probably do a deeper dive into this on another podcast, but when you're talking about reprogramming your subconscious mind, listening to subliminal audios or meditations is a really great way to do that. And again, I'll go into deeper details on another podcast, but what I want you to just know is a free resource that you can go to get it. You can go to YouTube and you can you can play an 8-hour meditation or subliminal audio so that you can reprogram your subconscious mind when you're sleeping for a full 8 hours. And you can find them on different topics, on health, on confidence, on love, on different things. So whatever it is that you want to be working on at that point in time, you can go and find a free YouTube video and play it at night while you sleep. So just wanted to throw that tidbit in there. So that's what my growth plan would look like. Confidence, I'm going to read this book. I'm going to join this organization. It could be I'm going to work with this coach, a confidence coach, right? That could be something as well. And so what else do you want to learn? How else do you need to grow? Might be habits. My habits aren't strong. Some days I'm really good. Some days I'm really bad. So how do I increase my habits? And then I might go and find books to read and coaches to work with or whatever to help me have a really solid routine of habits that build up to where I really want to go. So you think and reflect on the things that are holding you back that you know about, and you look to close the gap. There might be some things that you don't know about. There might be you might not know what it takes to be a millionaire, right? So maybe you can't say, I'm going to go study this, but you can start to learn what your gaps are. So it might be, I'm going to read this book on, the top 10 traits of millionaires, and I'm going to learn what skills that I lack in. And then those are going to be on my growth plan. Okay. So you might need to do some research first to understand how you need to grow, because you might not really know what skill sets or knowledge or traits you need in order to get to where you want to be. So don't hesitate to do some research as you're filling out your personal growth plan. And you can touch on all areas of your life. You might have an area that you want to grow in your love life, in your health, in your career, in your spirituality. Consider all those different areas of your life and create a growth plan. And as you're putting down what you're going to do, what you're going to read, what you're going to attend, who you're going to work with, put dates on it. I'm going to read this book by this date. I'm going to talk to this person by this date. That way it's not just some wishy-washy thing. It's real tangible areas that you're going to grow in, and that you're going to actually put some dates behind it. So that is how you can create a personal growth plan that is meaningful to you, that will help you close the current gaps in your life between where you are and where you want to be. And then when you've arrived, then you just start all over again, because now there's a new gap. There should be a new gap, because when you accomplish one goal, you should be thinking of what's next for you. So you should always have a gap. Unless you are 6 feet in the ground, you should always have a gap, okay? If you want to make the most out of your life and realize your fullest potential. So when you've started to check things off and cross things off, I have this knowledge, I've built this up, how I'm comfortable with, then just continue to add new things, add new growth opportunities to your growth plan so that you are growing all the time. You can find seminars and other type of events and conferences to attend. So think the full gamut of all the resources available to you. The books that you can read, the audios that you can listen to, the podcasts that you can listen to, the people that you can talk to, the skill sets, the knowledge, the personality traits, the character traits. Really think of all of those things and plug them in and put a date on it. And then you have a personal growth plan in place. And you're always growing. and you're always making life the best that it can possibly be. So I hope that has been a great resource to you. If you want to get my growth plan that I have created, you can go to www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com/growth plan and download your free copy of a personal growth plan.
And now, a moment of meditation. If you're not driving, cooking, or doing anything that requires your full attention, take a deep breath and close your eyes as Charlene leads you into an inspiring meditation.
This meditation is to help you grow. Take another deep breath in and exhale, relaxing your body. Again, inhale and exhale, feeling even more relaxed. Now I want you to imagine or pretend that there is a ball of energy in front of you. This ball represents your growth. Think of all the ways you know you need to grow. Think of all the benefits that will come into your life the more you grow. And with each inhale, the ball gets bigger, representing you growing. See yourself growing more and more, bigger and bigger, brighter and brighter. Feel the feelings of growth. Do you feel feelings of more confidence, more happiness? Allow those feelings to take over. And as you breathe, your ball of growth keeps getting bigger. See new things being attracted into your life. The bigger and bigger your growth ball gets. What else is coming into your life? See it. Because you grow, your life grows. And feel the feelings of all the things entering into your life as a result of your growth. Continuing to breathe, continuing to grow. Now I'm going to count to 3, and when I get to 3, open your eyes. Feeling like a better version of yourself and committed to your continuous growth. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. Feeling full of growth and all the opportunities coming into your life. And take the feeling of being someone who continuously grows with you for the rest of the day and the rest of your life. Until next time, grow on purpose.
Thanks for listening to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies podcast, your one-stop shop for all things personal growth. For today's show notes and even more tools and resources to help you transform the life you have into the life you love, go to www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com.